Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 6, the latest episode of the GVGCast. I just said it and I just forgot it. Where I'm your host, Derrick Bittner, and I'm joined this time by Steve Bowling and Daniel Alba. Welcome, both of you, and it is another week, and Ash is once again gone. The boy is abandoning us. That is not true. He's off at a con with his dad, having a good time. John still being a father, and Brandon getting some extra work done. So there is all that. So yes, welcome everyone to another episode of the GVG Cast, where got some interesting things to talk about this week. But before, of course, we get to all that, let's go ahead and jump into thanking our sponsor. That way we don't forget about that as well. So yes, as always, this week we are sponsored by The Game Orb, which is a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming system. While games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu can be seen on the channel along with others, they've also added Splatoon 3, Super Mario Sunshine, and Fall Guys to the gaming collection. They are also looking into starting up their own Twitch channel very soon. So keep an eye out for that. And that'll, of course, be at The Game Orb as well. So keep an eye out. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to them at the link in the description. And just check them out in general, person. They have been supporting us since the beginning. They are very, very kind person. Yeah. And, yeah, you should just support them as best as you can, because it is always appreciated. So thank you so much, Game Orb. And yeah, just hope you have a good one. And since Ash is not here again, I missed out on our patron birthday shout outs, and we have quite a few to get through this time around, with DJ Kirschman, who had their birthday on July 15th, Summoner's Faith, who had theirs on the 17th, Simfan, who had theirs on the 18th, and Chill Jill, who had theirs on the 26th. And we actually have somebody in the YouTube chat, Kevin Clayton. It's their 25th birthday today. And they got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on Steam. So birthdays all around. Happy birthday to all of you. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, happy birthday. And that's a good-ass birthday gift.
Yeah, I love. It's still one of my favorite games on the system.
Yeah, agreed. There's a lot there to love. And the Steam port is actually really, really good. I hope to talk about it more later, but they did good with this one. This isn't The Last of Us again.
That's definitely good. That's definitely good. But yeah, Steve, what have you been up to? It feels like it's been forever since we talked.
Yeah, we keep missing each other. We're like ships in the night lately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got some life stuff going on that I'm not ready to discuss publicly, which has kept me away from gaming way more than I'd like. But I'm slowly making my way back. This week in particular, I played a lot of Pikmin 4, which I've been enjoying a lot. For me, this around this time being like a handful of hours. And I've been playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on PC. So Sony sent me a code for that on release day, and I checked it out for maybe the last like 24 hours. And I actually played it on my Steam Deck, and I particularly enjoyed it there. On PC, it's not a better experience than PS5, but on Steam Deck you kind of get that weird feeling of like you're willing to overlook some quirks because it's so small. You're like, you get that Switch feeling of like, okay, well, you know, the portals aren't super instant, but I'm playing it in a handheld. And so to me, that part is really magical. I'm going to do a video on how it feels to play it on the Steam Deck next week. But yeah, a lot of time with that. And it just reminds me of how much I love that game. Like you said, Derek, one of the best games on the PS5, even now, like 2 years after its release.
Absolutely. What about you, Daniel? What have you been up to?
Oh man, so a game I played was just nothing but Pikmin 4. I 100% I 100%ed Pikmin 4. That game has so much more content than you can expect there to be. I'm at about 40 hours and 100% completing that game. It is huge. It is pretty much Pikmin 1 plus 2 plus 3, like HD Turbo Remix over here. It is so amazingly packed with different kinds of content. It's like, despite the fact that it's kind of easy, like there is the difficult content if you go looking for it. There is like some of the hardest content you can find in some of the in Pikmin series, especially if you're going for like being a perfectionist with these rankings that they do. But yeah, fantastic game. had an amazing time with it. Still posting fun little clips I took while just exploring that, like with the some very cool musical references in the game as well. But yeah, that was the majority of what I've been playing. I'll probably jump back into Final Fantasy 16 now that this is all over because I wanted to give Pikmin my attention. And then aside from that, it's a side note, but I was watching yesterday. The Mother Direct happened yesterday, the annual Mother Direct, and I can announce that Cody, who runs it, asked me to do the new intro graphics, the logo for the Mother Direct, the transitional graphics, and also like their logo for the Mother-like RPG Bash, which is a collection of games that are heavily inspired by Mother. He asked me to do that at the beginning of the year, and I finally got to see it all just kind of play out, and it was really cool to be a part of that. And it's a good direct. It's a lot of creative and awesome projects in there, including like remakes of, like reimaginings of Mother 1 and 2, and just a lot of cool fan projects in development in indie titles. There's some demos available. It's just a really cool event to be a part of. So yeah, that's pretty much been my week.
That's awesome. Congrats on that, really.
Yeah.
For me, I guess the big thing I accomplished was part 2 of Zelda. It's now live. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the retrospective yet, part of the second part of that completed history, where I cover 5 games in hour and 20 minutes, there you go. But it's funny that 2 of the games featured there got released recently, but we'll get into that as far when we get into the news. But yeah, definitely check out part 2 if you haven't had a chance yet. So 20 games to go. We're getting there.
Oh,
we're getting there. I'm getting some short things ready to go, just because with John out here and to have his extra videos to cover while I do all the insane research, I want to take some time to just have some extra content in there. And one of the other things that I'm including in that, and I feel like I can announce it here because we've already started it and we've let the patrons know. So I wanted to start a new idea for the channel that we could do each week called the NSO Game Club, where if you are part of the live audience tier or above on our Patreon, you can join us as we randomly pick a game from the NSO, both the normal and expansion pass, have a lineup of guest, give our preconceptions about the game, whether we played it before, any knowledge on it, whatever it can be, and then take a week, play the game, come back the following week, give our thoughts on the full game after playing it, and then pick the next one with our next set of guests. So that is our setup. And the first game that came up, of course, was a long RPG. We're not playing through the whole thing, but we're going to play through at least the first 3 chapters. If we can, everyone can at least manage that, I think. And we're playing Shining Force. So that'll hopefully be out relatively soon, so you can look forward to that. But if you wanted to follow us along from the beginning, I just wanted to give that a shout out so you can start playing Shining Force if you want to join us for this game club as we talk about each of these. And these will be these discussions will be streamed live for our patrons if you want to take part in that as well. So yeah, look forward to that. Otherwise, the other big thing I want to shout out is that currently the charity room guys are doing their annual Fund the Charity Room thing, where they're doing just raising money. Currently going on this weekend, the following weekend, and I have several runs in that. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a Meta Nightmare race in Kirby Superstar Ultra. I've never played it before, so I'm probably going to lose terribly, but hey, tune in for that if you'd like to see me race. And I think actually, Steve, you have some charity stuff coming up too.
I do. So I got invited to do a charity stream for Trans Lifeline with Kat Bailey for Axe of the Blood God. So they're doing I believe it's a 24-hour charity stream, so I'm just showing up for part of it. I will be playing, I believe it's, oh gosh, what is it? The game has Castle in the name. They were just like, hey, you want to do something with us? And I was like, sure. And then I asked, what is it? And so let me look here. It is, I will be playing King of the Castle at, let's look at the time
heck
here.
Is that?
I don't know. It's like a browser-based game, but it's at 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow that I'll be playing that with Kat and the rest of the folks for Trans Lifeline. So if you want to watch me play a game I've never played before and support a good cause, I will be there with them. So you can check out my Twitter for details, or
kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Both of us playing a game we've never played before.
Well, it's all for a good reason. You can watch me flounder for a good cause.
Exactly.
Man, I wish I could be part of more races. We haven't done any like video game. I haven't done any video game races since we did the Sonic races for our 100th anniversary or 100 subscription celebration.
100,000
I would
subs.
like to get back to those.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some ideas. I think
150K baby, get us there.
Yeah. I think a fun one to do for that would be if it was like crowd controlled.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that'd probably be the best way to do it. Because you guys love messing with us. That's
true. That's true. All those penalties y'all heaped on us were inventive and terrifying.
So that'll definitely be an easier way to keep track of it, because crowd control is pretty intuitive in what it can do. So yeah, I'm down for it.
Definitely. As far as what I've been playing, mainly Shining Force. Like I said, I want to get to FF16 and hopefully, and still
I desperately
very minorly chipping away at Zelda.
I desperately want to get hooked by FF16. I've tried twice now to like let it get its hooks into me, and I make it a little further each time, but it just hasn't gotten me to that point yet where I have to see what happens next. And I know it'll happen eventually because I love Final Fantasy, but 16 I'm having a harder time connecting with. And I would say that's just, I'm very early in the game still. So
yeah,
I've seen some story elements where I'm like, I want to know what that is, but I just haven't, like, it hasn't gotten me fully to the point where I can't put it down.
I saw somebody describe it, which I was like, interesting, where what people expect Game of Thrones, what people get Final Fantasy DBZ. And it's like,
well,
okay.
That's fair. I did an icon battle and I was like, holy crap. I was like, this is nuts.
If your early game, that one was probably nothing compared to the ones you're in for later on in the game.
Oh man.
The icon battles are some of the biggest spectacles I think Final Fantasy has ever achieved, and it's just anime ridiculous.
Oh man, okay, that's a glowing endorsement for me. That's exactly what I want to hear. So I may have to find some time for it. Like I said, Pikmin 4 this weekend, and then as I get closer to like, to finding free time, then I'm probably going to try to hunker down and just play the heck out of Final Fantasy 16, because I don't want to leave it behind. I don't want it to be consigned to my backlog. So I do want to actually get to it and play it.
Yeah. Same here. Well, before we get to the news this week, we got a bunch of super chats. Thank you so much for all of you for being so generous.
Yeah.
First up, Jaden Buck with $5 saying, crazy question Fridays, crazy question number 92. We're getting so close to number 100. What types of retro technology do you think deserve to make a comeback?
Oh, I've got one for this. Just because, our pal over at Digital Foundry, John Linneman, has convinced me of this over the years. CRTs. Like, just for retro gaming. I've seen PS5 games on CRTs and they look striking. Like, I would like to have it as an option where I don't have to go thrifting to find one of them.
Never thought about that. Retro tech. I honestly don't know.
Oh, Squire in our live audience chat has a good one. Multicolored transparent hardware.
Oh, that's always a common one. That's always fun.
I was just talking about my old like wireless VTech phone I had as a teenager in the 90s. It was like blue and you could see all the guts. I loved those, but honestly, the thing I was most attached to in that trend was the I don't remember what they called it here. Glacier Blue, the Game Boy Advance, like the OG launch model. Oh, Nintendo, bring that back, man. I would buy a Switch that looked like that in a heartbeat. That
would be cool. Anyway, next up is Disney Duncan with $5 saying, had a weird feeling in my head. Thankfully, the doctor said it wasn't life-threatening, getting better too. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're feeling all right.
Glad you're on the mend. Yeah, if you think something is wrong with your body, it's better to go get it checked and be told it's nothing serious than to let it sit. So good on you, Disney Duncan.
Yeah. Blind Man V2 with $5 as well. Thank you so much. Saying, hey, GVG, what are your opinions on MMOs and ARPGs like Diablo 4, Guild Wars 2, Path of Exile, and the like? Thoughts on connecting online to be with fam?
I do that all the time.
I mainly just play, at this point, just Final Fantasy 14. I don't really play any of those others. But I like 14 a lot.
I think that MMOs have become such a sprawling category that it's hard to just broadly say you like them or you don't like them. It's like saying you like anime and then not specifying. There's a lot of there's a lot of nuance there. But I would say the idea of playing online with people, as long as it's friends and not randoms, I love that.
Yeah. Jacob Tucker with $2 saying, I'm back, y'all. Super Nintendo World was awesome. Well, I am very jealous, so congrats on that.
Still haven't gone.
I know.
Man,
right?
Same. Daniel, you're geographically, aside from Ash, the closest one to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I could just...
There are young kids in your house. You have an excuse.
I know.
We have that excuse
yet.
too,
They'll go to like Disney World Japan instead. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna stay here and work on stuff like a responsible adult instead of having fun at theme parks.
We need to plan a GVG field trip at some point and just go.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Lizard81288 with a $2 super chat as well. Thank you so much. Saying there's a Twisted Metal show and it's good. Are reviews out for that yet? I've seen
I don't know.
trailers, and it always looks I mean, I like Twisted Metal, but I don't know. We'll see. I've not seen reviews, but I'm glad you're enjoying it at the very least. Then we have Kibbs McGibbs, great name, with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Saying, longtime fan of GVG, finally able to catch one live.
Welcome.
Do any of y'all have any thoughts on the new Jujutsu Kaisen Arena Fighter by Bandai Namco? I have not watched Jujutsu Kaisen. Have you, Steve?
I have not, but I will say this. I love a good Bamco Arena Fighter. Like, I'm waiting, even though I hate Boruto. Don't at me. I want that Naruto cross Boruto Arena Fighter that's just a retread of the, Ultimate Ninja Storm series. I'll take it. I can't wait to play it. Yeah, this is just another thing that I want to play. Like, I liked Demon Slayer, even though I think that was Sega, but it was the same development house. Like, Bamco doesn't develop these. I think it's Dimps that does them. But yeah, all good stuff. Once I get around to reading Jujutsu Kaisen and figuring out if I like it, then I'll try the game.
I've heard good things, so...
Me too. I just haven't had time. I've got that... It's intimidating in the same way One Piece is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe it. Giesel Diesel, I'm going to guess the name is. I'm going to go with the rhyming. With a $2 super chat saying, Steve streamed from a tub. How about the roof? Steve?
Listen, man. Okay, so
it's Arizona, so I think that's a bad idea.
We got to include a little bit of context and history behind this. I said slam in a $69 super chat and I'll stream from a tub. That was not risky to my health. If I would put a price on that if y'all are really interested in making it happen. I've got the technology. I can do this. But it is Arizona and it is 115 degrees outside. You want me to stream on the roof? We're getting into the hundreds of dollars.
Seriously. I saw a headline saying people that fell on the sidewalk or slipped and fell on the sidewalk in Arizona are going to the hospital with burns.
Yeah. That happens here.
So if you send that super chat, you are personally responsible for potentially melting a man. So
that's
just
right.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm allowed to do it in a colder climate and the price is right, I'll travel for that. I'll stream from Daniel's roof in the Bay Area if you want that. What do you want from me, people?
Your potential death, apparently.
Fine. For the greater good.
All right, one last one, but two more before we switch over to go to the news. There's still plenty more, but we will get to those very soon. Storysmith with $10. Thank you so much. Saying got off work. The Rogers Base live stream starts. It just finished, and 2 minutes later, GVG podcast starts. Call that perfect timing. Yeah, I'd say that worked. You just flow one right into the other.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, that's awesome.
There you go. And then a drink to the past with just $2, and it's appreciated nonetheless. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great day. And yeah, let's get to the news. And I'd say the big one, but this is a me thing. This is a me one for the news to start off, because I watched it. I watched the keynote live. But yes, the next expansion for Final Fantasy XIV has been revealed, called Dawntrail. And it's there's also other big news from it. Some of it's more granular in terms of stuff for Final Fantasy XIV fans. I'm not going to get into that. The big thing to note for this one is that it is the beginning of a new arc for the series, because from the time it first began in 1.0 to Endwalker, that was one complete arc. This is a brand new start for the series, and they're calling it, taking it easy. Like it's more like a summer vacation type thing. And it seems to be based around the South America locations. Like they added a new continent, and it looks to be based around South America. Looking pretty cool, to be honest. Potentially the biggest thing, though, finally coming to Xbox Series X and S. They're expanding the player base. That is only a good thing. And that's more opportunities for more people to play it. Open beta coming in early next year. I want to say it is. So yeah, really, really good stuff looking there. And yeah, I think it looks pretty great. But I'm also like two expansions behind. I'm still catching up. But coming to a new system is a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole new player base, and I think that's exciting. It becomes a bit more accessible, and I know personally, like, one of the things that I do with my friends is we'll boot up like one console and we'll just like be on voice chat trying to figure out what the hell we're all going to play. And having, often that console ends up being Xbox just because of Game Pass. So we kind of just start browsing around like there's, all these channels and nothing on, right? And I could see Final Fantasy XIV being a place I land now that it's on Xbox, just being like, hey, screw it, let's log in and screw around in that. Like we played PSO on the Xbox the other day. Had a terrible time, but we tried.
Had a terrible time? Why'd you have a terrible time?
I've left that game for like a year, and so I just don't remember what I'm doing anymore. And so it's just been a while. And I had that kind of fatigue of like trying to remember all the systems and how to do everything. I'm like, I don't know, man. If Final Fantasy's on the Xbox, maybe that'll just be the MMO I start playing on it.
I mean, there is one of the things they do have coming up is they're upping the graphical quality.
Ooh, nice.
So they're expanding upon that, making more available. There's some good artwork in here. There's of course 2 more job classes coming. Yoshi P likes to do this thing where he teases the new job classes by wearing shirts at these keynotes. And his tease for this one was wearing a TMNT Mutant Mayhem shirt. I have no idea. Like I'm pretty sure there's already a ninja. So I'm like, I don't know what that is.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody might know. I have no idea what that is, but yeah, it's coming out soon. Highly recommend it. Trying it if you haven't already, but I know it is also one of those consume your life thing. Realm Reborn definitely is a bit slow, but things do pick up with each expansion. It's one of those things where this is establishing the world, then we get to expand upon beyond it. But there is actually since people in the the live audience are talking about it. One other thing they did announce was they're having a crossover with Fall Guys. Final Fantasy XIV theme stuff is coming to Fall Guys as part of one of their season pass things. So there's that. But even more hilarious is that there's a gold saucer in Final Fantasy XIV where you can play mini games in order to earn MGP, gold saucer points, and you can get special stuff like that. They're adding a Fall Guys mode to it.
Oh wow!
That you actually play in the game. It's very odd, but it's gonna be fun. It's really all right. You got me to play Fall Guys because that looks better than their platforming mini game that they have in the game have in it. So they are. Oh yeah.
I thought the biggest news for Fall Guys was the Pac-Man just came out on as a collab.
Yeah. In 14, if you go to this, from the way it seems, if you go to Final Fantasy 14 and head in there, eventually there will be a game that you can play that is just Fall Guys with 32 players playing their Final Fantasy characters, running through those types of obstacles. That's something.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And then I almost forgot about this from a watcher. They extended the free trial. They changed the meme where it's, the whole thing was like you play the award-winning up the winning Heavensward. Now you get to play up to the second expansion, Stormblood, which is where I just finished. I'm ready to head into Shadowbringers. And from what I understand, if you get to the end of Stormblood, there's a hell of a hook for Shadowbringers that makes will probably pull in a lot of people if they get that far. But hey, you guys can play with your friends up until for a good chunk of hours.
I'm down to try that. I will probably take that on. I did a little bit of the game way back when Square Enix was nice enough to send us like game time codes. I think it was for like a month or two here and there for a while. And I tried it at that point and I was like, oh, this is rad. I like this, but I just had too much other stuff going on and couldn't keep going. But with a free trial that big, I'll probably hop back in and give it another shot.
There's a lot. And yeah, I'm personally, I'm just finishing up there's a section of what's called alliance raids, which is basically just like huge amounts of players all fighting similar things at the same time. This one is based around Ivalice. So they actually brought in Matsuno to write a kind of new canon ending to Final Fantasy Tactics that actually ties it in with Final Fantasy XII. So that's been pretty interesting. And then I'm going to be jumping into Shadowbringers and showing me that whole thing. So that'll be fun to see. But yeah, that's 14. I don't want to draw on it too long because I know I'm the only one who plays, and I know there's a lot of our audience is like not their thing.
Yeah, I can finally catch up to Derrick. Right? Derrick can just go off about Final Fantasy XIV, and I can't do a segment about Genshin Impact. All right, I see how it is. We're about to have a whole new region introduced in that, and it's not big enough news for this audience, I guess. It's fine.
I mean,
we need to get Daniel doing ads for that.
Yeah, exactly, Daniel. You just need the host, and you get to pick the news.
Apparently, yeah. I'll host the GVGCast if anyone trusts me with that.
That's okay because this next one, I feel like Daniel will have more to say. I don't know about Steve, but in Sakurai's latest YouTube video, he revealed that he actually has no successor for Super Smash Bros. He hasn't really taken on anybody to handle the series after he's gone because he can't imagine this series without himself.
I watched this video. Actually, like I knew this was going to come up. I was like, I better watch this thing twice. And so I watched it. Obviously, other corners of the Nintendo focused internet have been popping off about this all day. And I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was really compelling that he was able to talk about Ultimate that way. Like that he's not under NDA still. Right. Mm-hmm. And two, I find it very interesting how Nintendo-like it is for them to not have an heir apparent to the franchise setup. Because like you think about Zelda and Mario, they've been bringing up people to take Miyamoto's spot. And that's happened twice now for those franchises. Yeah. Whereas Smash has no one and is arguably more important bottom line wise than Mario or Zelda by themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's the case, but I mean, Iwata kind of laid it out that is like, if you're not with the whole Brawl thing, it was like, if you're not part of this, I can just see it being the scope being significantly smaller, because there was just these unique difficulties and challenges behind developing the Brawl at the time. So Sakurai was like, well, if I'm going to want this done right, I got to do it myself. It feels like it's the whole situation with Kojima in Metal Gear Solid. Right. Because he always said, I'm going to retire and let somebody else take up. And then nobody really stepped up. And I wonder if that's the case where nobody's really stepped up in the same way that they're satisfied with.
I love how Iwata was essentially recruiting Sakurai like Nick Fury out of nowhere, saying we have to do Smash Brothers for the next iteration. Uh, Almost not exactly, I wouldn't say threatening, but saying that if he doesn't get involved, it's pretty much just going to be melee with no improvements to the characters into Brawl. And Sakurai is like, no, that's not even a sequel at that point.
Yeah.
So it's such a unique situation for Sakurai because it's a freelance team that gathers like over 100 people to work on Brawl. It's for such a series that has at this point, like I can't imagine it without Sakurai either. Like I don't know who can take on the directing position to manage all these different games and series put together in one place. Maybe he has a protege that we don't know about that's working around. He doesn't want to say anything because that's putting way too much pressure on somebody. Because when there is a new director for the series, at some point they're going to be under an insurmountable amount of pressure because I feel like it's an artist thing. Like he has, I mentioned this in our discussion for Smash for 3DS as well. He has such a heavy imprint on the Smash Brothers series that it's hard to just, as an artist, imagine somebody else taking the reins as a
Right.
director. And just having something done in your vision is so important. And Nintendo also realizes that not only is he just, the one that is partially what makes Smash Brothers what it is, but it's just, yeah, it's partly the artist's conundrum. Like I want to see this done the way that I think it can be done. I'm the only one that can probably make it the way that I envision it, and it's hard to pull away from that.
He's also kind of taking a bullet when it comes to another Smash. If he is making another Smash, and refuses to hand over the reins, like Nintendo's like, we want to have a new Smash for this new system, and he's like, well, I can't see anybody else running this. I will do it myself. If that situation happens, he is in a very difficult position after Ultimate
That to
because
me. Oh, go ahead.
there is
Sorry.
no way they can have as many characters. So there's either like he either finds a way to do that, or he has to be at the head of the pack to take that criticism for the change in direction that then somebody else can pull from that and expand upon it. So because to have somebody new come up after Ultimate, that they have no chance in hell. Let's be honest. They're going to be criticized like crazy. Sakurai is going to be criticized like crazy based on changes. He's worked up a lot of goodwill, but you know how the internet is. If they're not happy, they will.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this has become almost a perennial discussion among YouTubers like us, right? About what happens now, like what happens next after Ultimate. And one of the things that I find interesting is Sakurai's kind of marked change in tone, because he is very Kojima-like in the sense that when Kojima was working on Metal Gear, after each one, he'd be like, this is the last one, I'm done. And then, he'd famously come back and do another one. And Sakurai used to do the same thing. Like, he would do Smash and be like, I don't know that I can do another one. I don't know that I have another one in me. And then he'd inevitably return. This time, he's like very openly saying, oh, I'll be back. Like, if they let me, I want to work with Nintendo again. I want to do the next Smash. And that to me is very interesting. Obviously, we don't know what the next Smash will be. Sakurai doesn't even know what the next Smash will be yet. But he seems to kind of validate the line of thinking that some of us have in the community, that the next Smash has to be something very different because you've kind of perfected the formula with Ultimate, or X as it's known in Japan. Or no, Special. Sorry, I got at the beginning. He's talking about Brawl and he's doing the X, and it just threw me off.
Yeah.
But he, after Smash Ultimate, like how do you take it further? How do you make it better in an objective way? I think that the right move, at least for me, and I've said this before, is probably to reinvent it in some way. Like whether that's just completely reinventing the original character's movesets or doing something like that. But I think Smash is ripe for something big to change with it after this. And I do think that it would be kind of messed up for somebody other than Sakurai to inherit the issue of trying to figure out how to iterate upon what I think most people would agree is the best Smash of all time.
Yeah. I can't imagine it being. It's hard to imagine it being something that's just derivative of Ultimate. Like it has to be at this point some kind of reboot because there's a lot of characters that just need a complete refresh of their movesets that they've been clinging on to since literally Smash Brothers on the 64 Like, there's a lot of creativity that can be done with that, and just just a way to just refresh the formula as well. But whether or not that's like in the cards anytime soon is probably way off to seeing anything like that for whatever future the series takes. But
I would
yeah,
not expect it for a while.
yeah, it's pretty much like what Eiji Aonuma had said in the video, that he can't imagine the series without him for his direction and his creative processes. So it's hard to imagine the series without him, at least at this point right now. Whatever happens after a reboot, well, we'll see if there is a reboot, if there's whatever might happen from here on.
Ash over here.
Yeah.
87 fighters isn't enough. Get out of here, Ash, with your trash take. Let the man rest.
The man even did a $5 super chat saying gutted that I have to miss this Smash conversation. Y'all are having entirely too much fun without
Ash,
him.
don't pay your own company money.
That's going to me, right? Just so
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna refund that
If you
one.
want to
Ash
pay us,
Paulson.
just pay us.
If you want to give us $5, just show up with $1.25 each.
just Venmo me, Ash. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll read whatever you want if it comes through Apple Pay, man.
Oh my god.
Do you want to pay me to stream from the roof, Ash? It's an option for you.
We'll see how that whole thing goes. But next bit of news is Smash related. Don't have to focus on this too much. But Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 was revealed, got its announcement trailer. The two new confirmed characters are Squidward and Jimmy Neutron, and they have a story mode, and basically promising all the things that honestly should have been there for the first game.
Yeah. Did we get... so I'll be honest. I did not follow the news of this game. Did we get confirmation that there's voice acting in this one?
Yes.
Yes, but the voice acting was added via update in the first one. So
Right. I fell off the first one so quick. I think the thing that bothered me the most was the wonky physics. And because it's so Smash-like, it accentuated all the things about it that didn't feel like Smash. And so I'm hopeful. I'll be honest, just rip Smash off a little bit more, and you might be onto something.
Yeah, there are some technical changes. Like there's actually hit stun, so that there's probably going to be actual impact when you hit a character, unlike when you just hit someone, they kind of just fly away and float away. So there is some notes taken from Smash Brothers already.
maybe they've been watching Sakurai's videos talking about impact and all that stuff. And I'm like, maybe we should write that down. Let's get the SpongeBob meme in there. I apparently missed a few characters. Donatello, Raphael, and Vlad Plasmius from Danny Phantom are in it as well.
Oh, nice.
And then apparently crossplay is going to be in there. And they have these new supers, which are basically Final Smashes. There's also mini games called Pinch the Blimps, Whack-A-Bot, and Urkin Armada Boot Camp.
All right.
So they're definitely pulling a lot more from Smash, but I think they got more of a budget with like, let's make sure we get more of what people actually like about Smash and get it in there.
Oh, you know what? And according to Juan Delgado in our live audience, it's getting a demo at Evo. So
that's next week. Ash should be able to check that out.
Be there, so we gotta Ash, take your
go.
camera.
Man,
let's find out if it's worth the wait, which is a surprisingly short wait, to be honest. But I hope that means that they
what does it do?
Kind of identify
later this
the
year.
easy issues.
Like I hope, I don't know, I guess they're under the belief that this will do well, because like the last game had a lot of pull just for the meme potential itself, getting people pulled in for it. Like it's Smash but with Nick characters, and I hope that this one, the initial impression of the first game was kind of deflating for a lot of people. Like they did upgrade it and update it a bit over time, but at that point people just kind of weren't playing it anymore. So I hope that this still sparks enough interest so that people give it a shot and give it a chance, because it does look like they're making efforts to improve it and make it a lot more in line with other 2D platform fighters.
October 24th release date? What are you doing?
Oh no, that is
I'll be playing
right
Mario
around
Wonder and Spider-Man 2.
and Sonic Superstars.
Yeah, I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, this thing's dead.
Oh
God.
It's just
why? Why
give
would
us some
you
hope here?
I mean, the thing is, a lot of times what happens is a first game comes out, it doesn't hit like people want, and the next game it does okay, but the next game comes out, people are a little burned from the first one, so they skip the second one, and it doesn't do as well despite it being better. I can see that happening here.
Objectively, the worst. I'll literally be
I
playing
they need to
two,
delay it
possibly
or something. Just make it like December 1st or right around.
right. Push it. Like
Make it an impulse buy for parents.
we're talking about a week in which 3 legitimate Game of the Year contenders are all launching. Like,
Guess I'm waiting for a price drop.
if I had money for 4 games, I still wouldn't buy this. Like,
oh god, Stardust Whip. It's the new Shin Barmenheimer Nickelodeon All Superstario Man Wonder.
No.
Wow.
Dad Alpha Lion, I actually believe that even in the crowded field that is 2023, that Sonic Superstars has potential to be Game of the Year material. And I think for some fans, it absolutely will be.
We'll see. I
Yeah.
have no idea. I know
I know.
I've not tried it or anything like that, so I'm reserving judgment.
Yeah,
It is a
I've
wild year.
played it. I've played about an hour of it. Ash played a few minutes of it, and there's clear areas of opportunity. And my whole thing hinges on if Sega fixes those. If they fix them and it ships with like a rock solid frame rate and good loading times, that's gonna be tough. I love a good 2D Sonic. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a wild year. Like, I know Brandon said if it wasn't for Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4 might be up there for a Game of the Year contender as well. And I believe it. I do believe it. So
I've heard that from a few people where it's just a favorite. And then Final Fantasy 16, like I've seen people say that that's their Game of the Year over Tears of the Kingdom. It's a tight race. We still have friggin' Baldur's Gate and Starfield and all this other stuff. It's a hell of a year.
Man, yeah, it's going to be a discussion for the end of the year. That's for sure.
That's for sure. I try to play as much as I can, but I feel like I'm falling behind. So we'll see what happens. Next two are a little, don't have as much to say about them, but they're still cool that they're coming. We finally got our first real trailer for Castlevania Nocturne, the follow-up to the Castlevania Netflix series following Richter, and it is coming out September 28th. As a Castlevania fan, this is my shit.
It looks good.
This looks fantastic. I like somebody had the idea that the other women that we saw in the trailer are the women that Richter rescues throughout Rondo of Blood, and rather than them being, just damsels in distress, they're like Maria, where they all have magical abilities, which I'm all for.
Hell yeah!
Let them kick ass in this series, man.
I think hey, people like Sypha. There's even more women in Rondo of Blood. Let's make them all like Sypha.
They did Sypha so well in the original series. Like, one of my favorite characters for sure. And to see that happen more with this as well, potentially, it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're going to bring in Dracula. It doesn't seem like it so far. It's just other vampires, but we'll see how they we'll see how it all comes together. But I'm excited. I'm so down.
I just need to start this series. I say it every time we get Castlevania news.
Oh my god, you still haven't watched it? My god, man.
Man, me and Netflix, we just don't hang out often. Like, anytime I have free TV time, I'm playing something. And so I bought this TV thinking that I would watch stuff while I work, but then when I turn something on, I get too distracted, and so I just turn it off. But I'm hoping that I'll find some peace and quiet here in the coming weeks, and I can sit down and actually start watching stuff, because I've heard nothing but great things about Castlevania, and I absolutely have to watch it.
You do.
Yeah.
You absolutely do.
It's a great watch. One of the best adaptations for a game in anything, honestly. So it's one of the series that's starting to shift the perspective that video game adaptations can be really good if they put some real hard and effort into it. So
and it is wild. Like, they have some elements from the games, but it is pretty wildly different from what it actually is. So yeah. Very just odd thing, but the woman who voiced Sypha in Castlevania is actually voicing the main character of Pokemon Horizons, Liko. the new main protagonist. The one took over for Ash.
Yeah, I saw the trailers for that. It looks really cool. Like, to actually see the series moving forward like that, it's really cool to see it.
Mm-hmm. I think she was also the female party member in Final Fantasy. Was it Shadow? The Final Fantasy 1 remake, Final Fantasy Origins, I think it was. The one that was like Dark Souls. Yeah, she
Oh
was
yeah,
that.
yeah,
She
yeah,
was that.
yeah.
She was the female party member in that. I've
God, I
not
need to
played it
finish
yet.
that
So.
too. I picked up
Oh,
that
Stranger
game.
of Paradise. Thank you,
Stranger's
Dan
Paradise.
Offline.
Thank you. Chaos. Right.
The one with Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got that range though.
She really does. Not a remake, alt universe. Yeah, that sort of idea. So yeah, there's that, and that's cool. I'm excited for that. Final bit, not much to say about it because it's already out. Oracle of Ages and Seasons have arrived on NSO as a shadow drop. You're welcome.
Wow.
All thanks to my retrospective.
There we go. It's exactly what did it, nothing else.
Yep.
That's all there is. Pulled out my copy of Oracle of Ages somewhere, and I mentioned like, "Oh, I'm gonna play this someday," and now I'm like, "Oh man, I got to make good on that now."
Yes. But they're finally on NSO. That is cool. I've played Seasons, have not played Ages yet. And you know what? There's something about these long videos that somehow draw things in because I have done this for Zelda, got that. Matt Muscles did his for Double Dragon. He got his new game. Plus, they just announced a collection for Double Dragon.
I forgot about that. That Double Dragon game is so bad.
Oh, really? He actually seemed to enjoy it. So I watched his review.
Shit. They sent me a copy on Switch. I loaded it up. It might be one of the most garbage games I've ever played in my life, and I love Double Dragon. It is so disappointing. So incredibly disappointing. Like, I have a video recorded. Like, Switch does 30-second clips. I recorded a clip of just a level loading. Like, I never got through the loading screen in that 30 seconds.
No. I wonder if they sent him a PC code and that's why.
Oh, it is. I would say I played through all of Neon. And while I know that Neon was not like a great game, it smokes this thing. At least on Switch. I've heard good
things about Neon where it's actually kind of fun, but
yeah, I liked Neon. I thought Neon was like a dumb popcorn game. Like, as long as you don't engage your brain too much, you'll have a fun time. This Double Dragon, I played it for like 2 levels and I was like, I hate this. Like, the controls are unresponsive. The art is straight bad. Like, I didn't have fun. But, maybe on different consoles it's better. On the Switch, it's hot trash though.
You'll have to talk to Matt about that one. I've only seen his review. He seemed to. I saw Stephanie Sterling did not enjoy it, hated it like you, but I saw Matt's and he did enjoy it. So I'm like, I don't have time to play it anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. But there it is.
Yeah, hopefully it's better on other platforms. It might just be extremely poorly optimized for Switch. If it had better load times and tighter controls, it would be playable at least. But on Switch, it's unplayable.
That's unfortunate. But hey, at least we got the Oracle games. Definitely play those. And yeah, should all be good. But that's all the major news for this week. I'm sure there's plenty of others, but that's what I highlighted because I'm running the show today. So
there you go.
Tough luck, Brandon. You want Hoyo verse? Not Brandon. Daniel.
Ooh.
You're the same person. then we can get that.
We're so similar that just as a quick side note, I think Brandon and I are gonna play Oracle of Ages and Seasons side by side on stream. We're gonna see how that's gonna turn out. I don't know.
Oh, that'll be wild because they are way more different than you'd think. Like the openings start out pretty similar, and then it's like complete left and right turn.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Still, we're still figuring it out. But I do want to play that on stream on our Twitch channel. So hopefully sometime soon, once we're done with all our other stuff. Once he's done being a dad playing Yoshi's Island on stream.
There you go.
Getting practice.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, we do have some more super chats, so let's read those out before we get to our patron topics this week. First up is a Claxon who had 2 $5 super chats. Thank you so much. Saying, what do you think about the ruling for easily replaceable batteries in handheld consoles, with most products needing things the way they are currently for safety reasons? I'm worried the trade-off will be weaker hardware than we could be getting to prevent the battery overheating. I never thought about it from that aspect because we did talk a bit about this, but I mean, I'm okay with it, but I'm also not a techie. So, Steve, you're the techie. What do you think about this?
So, I don't think that this is. I think people are making a lot of hay on this one. I don't think that there's going to be a massive change, because a user replaceable battery doesn't mean a whole lot design wise. It means that it's not like soldered on and glued into the motherboard. Like, all that has to mean is that it uses a connector that somebody can be reasonably expected to be able to undo themselves. So, we're not going to go back to like the days of having like double A's shoved into the back of our consoles or anything. What it means is that they have to provide a reasonable level of access to the device with tools that a normal person would have. So you can't, basically it means like Nintendo's not going to be able to use like those infamous like crazy screws that they put into everything that you have to like go buy a special bit for. Like they'll have to use like Phillips head screws, which that's not going to matter. And then instead of gluing the battery down, they'll have to like leave it to where you could just pluck it out with your hand once you have the back of the console off. And I don't think that that's really going to present like a safety issue for anybody, like unless you're really bad at handling batteries. And I don't think it's going to present like a huge design challenge. However, I will also say that I don't like the idea of a government agency being able to tell companies how to design their products. Like, as long as it doesn't present a health risk or an environmental risk, I don't think they should be able to say like, oh, you have to, do these things. Like, does it work out sometimes for the better? Yeah. Like Europe is forcing the iPhone to get a USB-C cable instead of the crappy one that we all lose. But in this case, I think it's just a little bit silly. Like, I think we should be able to remove them because repairability is cool. But at the same time, I don't like people being told how to design their products. Like, right to repair matters. It's really important, but I'm of two minds on it. Like, I wouldn't want to have to design a product with a government agency telling me what I can and can't do with it. But at the same time, 20 years down the road, when I'm able to still get Switch batteries,
that process is also how we got that sub.
Right? That's true.
So sometimes there's good things to have as far as people being told what to do. So it's a case by case basis. So
that's the hard part. I think that I don't like the idea of stifling innovation, but I also think removable batteries probably isn't the hill to die on that one. But all in all, I don't think it's going to present like, I don't think what they do with their batteries is because of safety. I think it is just because it makes it harder to, you have to send it to Nintendo to repair or to Apple to repair is really who they're targeting. But
next up is Raphael Perez with $5 as well. Thank you so much, saying, I got the day off, secured my Spider-Man 2 console covers and controller, and caught a live GVGcast. Talk about a good start to the weekend. Much love. Well, much love to you. Thank you so much for that. Hope it is a great weekend.
I got those too, man. I couldn't resist.
Nice.
I had gift cards and I was like,
I knew you wouldn't be able to.
It's Spider-Man, man. I had to.
Pyre Liveranon, I'm going to say. Sorry if I butchered that. Hello from Finland with €5, I should say. Hello from Finland. I recently got back into GVG and was able to catch an episode because I'm shaving my leg hair at 3:30 a.m. Don't judge me. Much love. Hey, no judge. You're watching us.
Thank you. We love you too.
That's the best thing you could be doing.
And your icon is the best boy. I'm just going to say that.
I can't quite make it out. Which boy
it's a
is
Shiba Inu.
Oh, okay. I see it now. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Then we got Alan Wilkinson with a £2 donation saying, who would you want to see in All-Star Brawl 2?
Man, I got Our Real Monsters in All-Star Brawl 1. I want a throwback to you can't do that on television. Like, I don't know how you do it, but
I don't need a character. I need a level to be the aggro crag.
Oh yeah.
The aggro crag.
That's all I need. I don't need a character. Just give me the aggro crag as a level. That is perfect.
I don't know if anybody's ever watched this, but Chalk Zone is a really interesting series to pull from. I think you would get snapped from Chalk Zone. It'd be like probably like a very Game & Watch style character where you can just create things on the stage. I don't know if anyone's ever watched that, but I really love that show. So maybe that'll happen.
I hope so. We got Chalk Zone. I saw somebody say Angry Beavers. I love that show as well.
Oh, Daggett and Norbert, that'd be hilarious. Just to get their voice actors back, I would love. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, Disney Duncan said I missed one of their super chats. Where? I did not. I have not gotten to the new ones. I saw you have an earlier one, but it's not quite gotten there yet, Disney. I think. I got your first one, and that was the only one that I saw. So I apologize if I missed it, but I don't think I did.
Yeah, we got one coming up about Tuesday.
Yes,
but I don't.
Yeah, I don't see any of the others. With Taniac with a $2 super chat saying, "Did anyone get into the Tekken 8 CNT? Thoughts? I did not.
I did, and I got into it in the weirdest way possible. Bamco sent me this gold coin." And I'm not going to show you the backside, but there's a code for the beta on it. They gave this to me at Summer Game Fest, and I didn't know what to do with it until I started looking up the beta test, because the back is a QR code that takes you to the page to sign up. And so the beta is going on now, so I'm probably going to try it like tonight.
I thought the beta finished.
No, it starts today, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was this past weekend because Maximilian was talking about it.
Oh, maybe you're right.
You might have missed it.
Whoops! Sorry.
I'll be right back. I gotta take care of the dog.
Yeah, no problem.
If you want to research this, Disney Duncan's is the next one with their $5 super chat. If you want to read that one.
Yeah, I'll read that out. Okay, so it looks like. Oh yeah. Okay, there's the second part of it started today for PlayStation 5, and it includes Xbox. So I'm gonna take a look at it tonight. So I'll let you know with Taniac once I've had a chance to play it. But Disney Duncan with $5, thank you so much, says, "Tuesday I threw up an entire 1-hour trip home and said my first F-bomb when I got home. Hope it never happens again." Well, I am so sorry about that. That sounds like a terrible time. You know, having stomach troubles and I mean, I don't blame you for throwing an F-bomb out there. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, unfortunate. Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah, seriously. And apparently, there's a second week because first week was only PS5.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing that for the first half of your absence.
Okay. Sorry. Dog was like, I want to get out, and so I had to let them out. Then I'm guessing you haven't done Disney Duncan's. Why is somebody setting off
fireworks? I haven't done the Elden Ring one from Disney Duncan.
No wonder the dog's going nuts. Somebody's setting off fireworks, so they're freaking out.
Oh.
We get those around here too, or like it sounds like entire bombs go off sometimes out here. I don't know what they're doing in California, but they're wilding out there.
If they upset Kiko to the point that she wakes up Kai, I'm gonna have some words. Like, you dumbasses setting off your fireworks, like.
It's the end of July. Stop it.
There is no
here in
reason
Arizona,
for that. All you're doing is
July
setting
8th.
pets. I did deal with that throughout the 4th of July. This is anyway. Disney Duncan with $2. Elden Ring is fun with you mod easy mode in it. Okay, I've not.
Elden
Ring waiting here. I've not touched it.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I think that there's a lot to enjoy about it. I think that if you like FromSoft style, it's a top tier game. But if you're casual like me, there are parts of it where you can point out some very obvious like game design weirdness. But good game, fun game.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our patron topics for the week. As always, our patrons can offer up some topic suggestions. And Daniel, why don't you start us off?
So mine's a pretty easy, simple one. It's from Jack Salmon asking, growing up, did you spend any time playing in arcades? And if so, what was the experience like? We had a few arcades right around my area where I used to live it's still in the Bay Area. I'm still in the same area. I never moved, barely ever. But there was like one nearby. It was just in our mall. It was just a little arcade called Tilt. And I remember we would have like just all these pinball machines there, some very basic, like just your usual. You see, there was a Street Fighter over there, but I don't think I ever played it because I was intimidated by fighting games back then. I don't know if I could ever like have that kind of ability for a Street Fighter. Even back then, there was this one little machine. It would spin around, and it had those Pogs, like the original Pogs back in the day. Those little like little chips that you flip back and forth, and there was like a whole container you can keep them all in. It was a dumb little fad back then. But the bigger one that I remember is if we would drive out to a mall that was like an hour away, and they had like a big like arcade. There was like this arcade. There was a bowling alley right next to it. Inside there was this crazy like 8-player shooting game. You would have 8 people, and you would all do like a co-op shooting, like kind of like Galaga, but you're all fighting these same squadrons together. I have no idea what that was, and I never figured out what the name of it was from back then, but it was so cool. And the other thing I remember most is there was very specifically a cabinet that had the Galaga and Miss Pac-Man combo in it, and I would play a lot of Galaga with my dad, and I would play Miss Pac-Man with my mom, and we kind of just went back and forth that way. And so I have a lot of memories of Galaga with my dad. He was really good at it back in the day. And yeah, just a lot of really simple family memories like that way back then. And then when I got older, my first part-time job was at a mini golf course and arcade. So that energy never quite left me growing up.
I didn't have a arcade experience. The closest I got was, I guess, when I went to the boardwalk. They'd have these little mini arcades, and most of them were just those games that you get tickets from, not actual arcade games. And the best you'd get was like maybe an old Time Crisis game or something like that. I remember when I was really young, there was a pizza place that happened to have Mortal Kombat 2 in the corner. That's the best I got. There was no dedicated arcade near me as growing up. So I never got the arcade experience. It sucks.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So interestingly,
it's fine. It's just the way it is.
I think that this is really interesting. Maybe it's a California thing. I don't know. But when I lived in Northern California as a kid, my local mall also had a Tilt arcade that had like Dynasty Warriors and other like early 3D games, like Virtua Fighter 1 was there. But that's not my arcade story. I just had to mention that because I had no idea. I thought Tilt was like a one-off thing.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'd never seen another one. So apparently, Daniel, we're connected by Tilt. But I grew up in what I would argue is probably at least the silver age of the arcade scene, like if not the golden age. I'm old, is what I'm trying to say. But I grew up in Lancaster, California, and in that town we had an arcade called Electric Ladyland, which is just a freaking cool name for an arcade. And it was like the arcade that you see in like Stranger Things and stuff like that, where they try to show you what the 80s was like. I had the 80s arcade with the weird carpet and the guy with the fanny pack with the quarter dispenser. Like that existed for me. And I would play just all kinds of games like Final Fight and Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 1. And, you know, I spent a lot of weekends there. Just my parents would give me like $10 in quarters and be like, stop annoying us for a while, Steve. Just go. And I would be left there for hours.
Oh, wow.
But the funny thing is, and I think that this is something that's hard to describe to people of a later generation, is that it wasn't special. Like it just wasn't, because it was just a fact of life. Like you'd go to the arcade and you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to the arcade.
It still felt special to me because it was so rare. I'd have these magazines talking about it. And the best arcade experience I ever had was I went on a Boy Scout trip to some sort of camp. And the camp happened to have like this little arcade area, which basically consisted of one single game. But it was the X-Men arcade game that was 6 players. And they had it set so you could, like, you didn't need to put any money in because you paid to get into the camp. So they just set it up so you didn't put any money in. You could just hit the button as many times as you want, get as many lives as you need. So we would just beat the X-Men arcade game over and over again. That was fantastic. That was a good time.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that's like you don't appreciate it when it exists, like if it's something that's a part of your life, right? But now, like, I miss arcades desperately. Like, I love the idea of being able to run into gamers and actually just play games against randoms, because there's so much less toxicity in an in-person environment with random strangers, because no one's going to have the nuts to, like, tell you the awful things they say through a chat headset to your face. Like, you're going to beat someone at Street Fighter and they're just going to either walk off or tell you good game and leave. Like, you're not gonna get a DM full of insults later, you know. So it was nice like that, and I do miss that. But yeah, arcades were a special thing. I think I would love it if they made a comeback. I still enjoy going to the ones I can find. It's just such a rare thing now, though.
If you guys ever come by in this area, there's a Round One just a few miles away from where I live at our local mall, and yeah, that's like the pretty much the most core experience I can get for an arcade at this point now in today's age.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
What about you, Steve? What's your patron topic this week?
All right. So because I didn't coordinate with Daniel first, I had initially picked that same topic because it was exciting. So I'm glad Daniel did. So I hastily, during Daniel's reply, picked another one. Let me find it. Okay, I don't have who wrote it because I copied it in a hurry, so I apologize. But whoever you are, you wrote, while licensed games are most likely hard to get on the NSO apps, GoldenEye proved that it's not completely out of the question. What are some licensed games from any of the consoles on NSO? Did I steal yours, Derrick?
You did, but that's all right. Go ahead. I'm searching for another one. Let's go for it. That means we picked some good ones. That's
yeah,
all right.
Hive Mind.
We all have similar tastes.
SNES, N64, Genesis, and the Game Boy line that you would like to see come to any of the NSO apps. It could be any licensed game, good or bad, regardless of how hard it may seem to nab. And I have a quick shot. Thank you, Grantles. I have a quick answer for this because this is one that I've advocated for here on GVGCast in the past, and that is Sunsoft Batman for the NES.
Ooh, good one.
I grew up with that game. I have the music memorized. I still have muscle memory for some of those levels, and I probably haven't played it since the 90s.
I've still not beaten Joker. I've played it. I actually went back and played it, and I made it all the way to the Joker, and I could not beat the Joker.
Oh, it is such a hard game.
It's brutal.
It is brutal, but it's so good. But yeah, that would be my answer. I don't think there's a licensed game I want more to make a comeback than Sunsoft Batman. I would pay good money for that at this point. But how about you, Derrick, since this was originally your topic?
There's quite a few I can think of that I would love to see. The first one that came to mind, though, and it's possible because it was part of the Genesis Mini, so it'd be great if it came to the NSO. I want Mickey's World of Illusion or even Castle of Illusion, but I loved World of Illusion, and that's perfect for NSO because you can play it online with a partner, which is the only way to get the true ending in that game. You have to play in co-op in order to get the true ending.
I never played that, and I have the Genesis Mini. I need to try that.
Yeah, World of Illusion is one of you plays as Donald, one of you plays as Mickey. It's fantastic. Just off another one on the Sega Genesis, Quackshot. That's a great game as far as Disney adventure games. That one you played as Donald Duck. Little Nemo, Dream Master. Would love to see that on NSO. Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind immediately. Batman's, of course, another one.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so glad someone said World of Illusion because I wanted to bring that up as well. Like I remember playing that back in the day. One of my few Genesis games I had was like the Sonic series, like all the Sonic games, Vector Man and World of Illusion. It's the weirdest mix ever. You're like Mickey and Donald. You're like flapping your blankets back and forth trying to go through these stages. I remember being stuck on like Wonderland forever. I don't know. And then the weird water stages where you're in a bubble. So many weird memories with that game. It was an acid trip. But that aside, like. I think people know I want to see Lego Racers on N64 on this series. Like it probably is worse than I remember it. It might be. I don't care. It's Lego Racers. That was the original. Like you can build your car, and depending on how you build your car, it determines your weight, your acceleration, and all that. You could use like pre-made cars if you want to, but it was fun to just go into the builder and make some of the most ridiculous ones. And the item system is fantastic in that game because when you get a brick, it's either projectile or shield or speed boost, and then like those are colored. But if you pick up white bricks on the stage as well, you can upgrade that to up to 3 different tiers, and you could get your boost up so high that you like warp through a slight portion of the stage, or like you get homing missiles for the projectiles. It was really cool. I love how they do the item system in that game, and I hope to see it come back, if not just for that reason. But yeah, Lego Racers, I'm waiting. Where is the Nintendo?
Nice.
I don't know if it's licensed, but you made me think of Beetle Adventure Racing.
Oh, yeah,
That's got to be licensed, right?
I mean, it has the Beetle license, so why not?
I also have to throw out the obligatory DuckTales, even though it got re-released. I would take the OG NES version on NSO.
I mean, that's just a classic, stone cold classic.
Mm-hmm.
Really, a lot of those old NES games are. You know what? It's not part of any collection. I've not tried it myself, but it's a co-op game. Goof Troop.
Ooh, I would like to try that.
I've heard good
That's a
things
good
about
one.
Goof Troop.
We recently played it on stream, and yeah, great title. It's like a two-player, almost a two-player Four Swords Light kind of experience. You kind of cooperate together using different items, going through stages. Yeah, it was a great game.
Nice. So for mine, I'm just going to keep it simple here. Go with Jason Uloas, who said, if you had to choose any game in your backlog to start playing right now from start to finish, and you cannot switch out until you finish it, which one would it be? Which is a hard question because I have a hell of a backlog. But you know the first one that came to mind, and the one I really should have played by now because I worked so hard to try to find it and finally did get it, and then I just proceeded to not actually play it yet. Skies of Arcadia Legends. I need to play that game. That's the one I would choose to be like, why haven't you played this yet, you dummy? Just sit down and play it.
Just gave me an idea.
So that'd be my choice. What about you guys?
So for me, it's easy because I say it every time this comes up. Persona 5. Like I've not played Persona 5. I begged for it to come to the Switch forever. It came to the Switch. I got it, and I still didn't play it. I owe that game some of my time, and I was thinking, I was like, man, I wish there was like a category of like game of the not year to nominate the best game I played this year that didn't come out this year.
I mean, I think we have that category.
We do that. We already do that this year.
Oh
or last
crap!
year at least.
I need to play Persona 5 then.
Yeah, you do. Why? I'm only slightly offended. It's okay. I know there's some people in chat that are a bit more offended, like Caitlin.
Yes.
As you do.
I said my bar for a game that's too long is like 50 hours, and Persona 5 just blows past that laughing along the way. So,
which is funny to me because I was talking to you and you were like, 20 hours feels short to you.
Yeah, 20 hours is not bad. Like 50, when I start to get into 50 hours though, that's where I start to get the sticker shock of like, oh crap, that's a lot of time to devote to anything. And then I'm like, but then the dumb part is that I look at my Switch play log and I'm like, oh, Tears of the Kingdom, 130 hours. I can find the time. I just tell myself I can't all the time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's rough. There's like, it's like, how do you divvy up your time for some of these things, honestly? Because there's so many different games in the backlog we could jump into, and I can't ever decide on like one. And I'm just trying to play the games that are coming out now, and I can't keep up.
Right. I mean, like once I know that October I'm going to have to sign off of everything that isn't a game that came out in October. Like I'm just gonna have to be like, you know what? All right, Spider-Man, Sonic, Mario, you got me. Like I guess I'm not sleeping tonight.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really hard to do the game of the not year, because do we count remakes like this? Am I gonna throw in Metroid Prime and Resident Evil 4?
I nominated game. I ruled on the side of Metroid Prime being a game that came out this year because it was a net new game.
And I would definitely consider Resident Evil 4 a new game.
Oh yeah, well, that's a remake.
It's far too different, but yeah, I get what you mean now. But yeah. Well, I think that covers it for our patron topics this week. Thank you so much for those suggestions. Obviously got us talking about some really good ones in there, so thank you for that. But we have a few more super chats to get through here that came in with MX Becca's with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Holy cow. Saying if Valve can partner with iFixit and provide parts of any of the big three can and should. Less e-waste is good for us all, y'all. Love y'all.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that, but there you go.
Yeah.
Do it.
if Nintendo would give like parts to their consoles, and I don't think that would be a problem. I'd love that.
Mm-hmm. Save Gaming with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Saying, just wanted to encourage you. You're making life a lot better. The good vibes always make my day better. Love the Zelda videos, Derrick. Favorite series. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's feeling love the love on Zelda, and just hope it keeps building up over time as I prepare for part 3.
It's coming.
It will never end. I did not intend this for to be a year-long odyssey. Disney Duncan with $2. Thank you so much. Saying, how long do you think the strike will last? I'm guessing you mean the writers and Screen Actors Guild strike. As long as it needs to, as long as the companies are being dumb as rocks.
Yep. I don't like the idea of taking
I'm completely on the side of the strikers, because this is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
So, well, I think with that covers this episode of the GVGcast. So I want to thank all of you for joining us. I'd say this was a really fun one. Some interesting topics that we got to talk about this time around. And let's go ahead and, well, of course, we wouldn't be able to do any of this without all of your support. That includes, and that's an extra special thank you to our patrons at the producer tier, as you make this channel just happen. So thank you all for just all you do. And of course, an extra special thank you going out to all of our executive producers. And they include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Fesmio, Blake, Critter XD, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedron, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Joseph Rutkin, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Darchi, Becca, Killamox, Sean Davis, Michael McCall, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Rioner, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Rosa Pardo Bowling.
Hi, Mom.
Skull Kid Tiger, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Derrick, I'm still used to the old pronunciation, Colin, Blaze Star 25, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Moon Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakeland, Longboy Shiggy, Aramis Baramis, Dylan, Kyle the Monarch, Dad Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat Evie Person 5, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Young Ant, Ryan Hanley, Somnia, The Game Jamie, and Danny Walsh. Thank you all so much. And then we got just one more super chat from Disney Duncan with another $5 saying, my top 3 games of the year so far are Tears of the Kingdom, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and the Xenoblade 3 DLC. Good choices all around. So yeah, that is our show for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. Of course, we'll be going into our post show with our patrons. So if you're a patron, if you want to join up at the live audience Patreon tier, you can join us for that. That will also get you the behind the scenes recording of the upcoming NSO Game Club, which will eventually include some fun special guests. So look forward to that. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. We will see you all next week for the next GVG cast as we prepare for EVO. That'll be the EVO week. So once again, I don't think Ash will be here, but here with us in spirit. He's off watching fighting games, so whatever. You guys have a great night and take care. Till next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
We meet again.